Everyone, we continue our theme of fasting by looking at the prophet Isaiah, starting with complaint from the people and his response. Why do we fast and you don't see? Why humble ourselves and you don't notice? Yet on your fast day, you do whatever you want and oppress all your workers. You argue and fight and then you fast. You hit each other violently with your fists. You can't fast like you do today and expect your voice to be heard on high. Is this the kind of fast I choose? A day to humble oneself, of bending one's head like a reed, and of lying down in mourning clothes and ashes? Is this what you call a fast, a day acceptable to the Lord? Isn't this the fast I choose? To undo the chains of injustice, to untie the ropes of the yoke, to set the oppressed free, and break every yoke? Isn't it to share your bread with the hungry, and bring the homeless poor into your house, to cover the naked when you see them, and not hide from your own flesh and blood? Then your light will break out like the dawn, and your healing will spring up quickly. Your own vindication will walk before you, and the Lord's glory will be your rear guard. Then you will call, and the Lord will answer. You will cry for help, and God will say, "Here I am." Now, I've spent the last 2.5 weeks talking about the importance of prayer and spiritual disciplines, but here through Isaiah, we hear a much needed reminder on how there's more to these practices than just practicing them. The problem that's being complained about here is what I like to call checklist religion, right? It says, as long as I do the right things in the right way at the right time, God is satisfied. I'll do this fast, I'll take this bread and cup, I'll give this hour at church, then I can do whatever I want with the rest of my time. See, it's a kind of religion that doesn't touch the rest of life, and it doesn't really change me. It's just a box that I have to check. Look, I do look forward to the day when things are totally back to normal and we can worship together like we want to. But I wonder if the reason why so many people are desperate to get back together is because they've lost the ability to check their Sunday morning boxes. That's all the religion is, and they're afraid that God's going to be mad for not going through the motions. What we see here is God's most really upset when we miss that worship and spiritual practices are meant to be formative. They're supposed to shape us into people who love in a particular way, who work for the good of the world, who work for justice. Isaiah promises that when we do this, when we transform ourselves and when we work to transform the world, our light will break out like the dawn and the Lord's glory will be our rear guard. You don't need to just see the light or check a box saying that you saw it properly. You need to be the light. We're so focused on giving things up for God so that God will give us things in return, when God's whole aim is for us to be giving people. God's glorious light becomes our rear guard. He's backing us up in the good that we are doing. So stop focusing on checking boxes and check your heart. How does your worship form you into someone who loves like the Lord?